when free agency starts on Sunday, Morey's plan is to convince Jimmy Butler to try to get Philadelphia to work a sign and trade with the Rockets. Essentially tell Philly, I will go sign somewhere that does have cap space. You'll lose me for nothing if you don't work a sign and trade with with Houston to get me there. And then he would partner up Jimmy Butler with Chris Paul, with James Harden. As we remember, he offered 4 first-round picks to Minnesota before he was traded there. He believes in star power. And to do that deal, hypothetically, it would have to be 2 of these 3 players would have to be included in it. Clint Capella, Eric Gordon, and P.J. Tucker.
Good players.
Very good players. And if, Philly didn't want to take on salary, if they said, okay, if Jimmy's going to leave, we would let him leave, they could, they could forward those players on to another team. They could create a trade exception, keep some cap flexibility. But we do know that this weekend, Philadelphia, listen, they're determined to re-sign Jimmy Butler. Now, is it at a 4-year max? Is it a 5-year max? Will it be something just south of that? They're not interested in just letting him walk.
I would love to see Daryl Morey 48 hours before free agency. The whiteboard, the beard, unkempt beard, some food stains on his shirt. I mean, he's going all in on a very complex scenario. But also, people are going to laugh at him. But 2 years ago, he told me on the record in June, we have something up our sleeves. And everyone said, oh, Daryl Morey's got something up our sleeves. You know what he had? Chris Paul. And Daryl has always been about star talent. And you can question whether kind of gutting the roster to add a 3rd ball-dominant star is the right move, and that's a fair question. One of the things it is, though, is a hedge against, if Chris Paul's decline gets more precipitous, that's like one star kind of goes into a different role. Jimmy would be kind of a substitute for that. One thing also to make clear is I've been told it's very unlikely that Jimmy does what Chris Paul did, which is opt in for his salary next year at a much lower number than he can get in free agency to facilitate a trade. Now, all of this is happening because there's suddenly a Western Conference arms race in the wake of one of the greatest teams ever assembled, suffering 2 incredibly traumatic injuries in back-to-back finals games, 2 outgoing free agents who maybe will come back, maybe won't, and even if they do, may not play all of next year, and that's opened up everything. And Durant's injury, Kevin Durant's injury, an NBA tragedy, really, what happened to him, has thrown a cloud of mystery over his free agency, which in turn throws a cloud of mystery over the NBA's free agency because he is maybe domino number 1. What have you heard about the injury possibly giving Golden State maybe an in that they didn't have before?
Well, it's changed the narrative for Kevin Durant in Golden State. It goes from the player who didn't get credit for jumping on board of a 72-win team, the narrative that he wasn't crucial to winning there. Well, you saw that he was. And now this becomes something that's never been there, an underdog story, a comeback story. Because by the time Kevin Durant would play again in the NBA, 2 teams would have won championships that aren't the Warriors. And so in 2 years, when he's coming back from an injury, when Klay Thompson, let's say Klay stays, and perhaps he's back at full strength with the ACL injury, maybe Klay comes back some point next year. Now they're a team people are rooting for, and now Kevin Durant is the builder in Golden State. He's not the guy who just jumped on. And the adulation that I think maybe wasn't there for him in Golden State, it's going to be there. He is a beloved figure there for what he came back and did, the injury that he sustained when he took great risk to play for that team. He's not going on the road anywhere in the NBA again like he did in Oklahoma City, where they're holding up cupcake signs and cupcake T-shirts.
Even in Oklahoma City.
No one's ever calling Kevin Durant a cupcake again. That does change the narrative and the story for KD in Golden State. Now, is that enough to get him to stay there? We don't know that yet. But they have a better case to make post-injury than they did pre-injury.
Well, let's get to the case. Number one, I think they will feel that they owe him the 5-year max even after the injury. Now, that was a no-brainer. He's Kevin Durant. You offer him a 5-year max. After an Achilles tear, everything's a little bit up in the air. But after what happened and the circumstances around it, I think they're going to say, we just owe it to him. The question I have for you is, and the question everyone around the league has, is has there been a breakdown in trust given what happened with the doctors recommending that he play or giving him the okay to play and then the traumatic injury and then the noise of, well, the doctor said it couldn't possibly get worse and then it gets worse. Has there been a breakdown in trust? Because that would be, he can't go back if there is a breakdown in trust.
If there were a breakdown in trust, you would imagine that Kevin Durant's camp and the Warriors would not be in communication. And they have been in communication. They have talked. And so their ability to be able to talk through whatever potential issues there are and trying to go forward, I think those lines of communication are open. Again, does it happen? Does he stay? I think that conversation has yet to really happen between Durant, Rich Kleiman, his business manager, Bob Myers in the organization. I do think there's going to be a point here where they do talk before free agency starts, but there's no indication that they have been shunned by KD. That I don't believe that's the case.
Let's hit Klay, because we can't forget about Klay. The noise all year has been he's going to wait for that max offer from them. From what I'm told, that max offer it hasn't been communicated to him that it's for sure coming, right?
Right, and you could offer your own free agent a deal at any point here. That 5-year, $190 million max offer before the injury, post-injury, if it's not there for Klay Thompson Sunday at 6:01 p.m. Eastern, the Warriors could then expect him to go out and take meetings, but the one team that I think that my information is that he would be very open to going to sit down with are the Clippers. And if Kawhi Leonard, if they have a chance to be able to sell Kawhi Leonard on a partnership with Klay Thompson, certainly that's an appealing sell for any free agent and vice versa.
Now, to be clear, just because they haven't communicated that the 5/190 max is coming doesn't mean it's not coming. In fact, I would be shocked, given what he has meant to their organization, if it didn't come.
How do you recruit players in the future if you don't make those offers to KD and Klay Thompson when they played hurt for you? I think it makes, as an organization, it makes it tough to go forward and recruit players in the future. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN+.